As of today, Ethereum is hovering around 77.53. So the question becomes is, should you be investing in Ethereum? Well, there's a couple of things I first want to address. I first want to address the recent rise in Ethereum. It was roughly around $50 less than a week ago, and as of today has risen up to $77. So these are the couple of reasons why Ethereum has skyrocketed in such a short time. Okay, number one is the Ethereum Alliance. So companies like Microsoft, Intel, JP Morgan, and all the dApps, the decentralized apps or startups built on top of Ethereum decided to create a coalition, kind of like a partnership to nurture the ecosystem, to build out the ecosystem and to build out Ethereum. And with this Ethereum Alliance, you have a coalition, so you have a more laser focus, community building up. Number two, you have new money coming in. Number three, you have a huge talent pool, a new talent pool of new fresh blood coming in to work on the ecosystem. So that's one of the reasons. Number two are the dApps, are the new startups being built on top of Ethereum, because with all these new startups, they are using tokens, well, the majority of them. And with each token, this token is not directly, but indirectly tied to Ethereum, because with the dApps, majority of these dApps are using smart contracts. And with smart contracts, you need to use gas. And with gas, you need to use Ether. So literally every single startup being built on top of Ethereum is consuming Ethereum to function as a company. None to mention that with the dApps, we've been seeing a huge increase in ICOs, initial coin offering. So pretty much companies doing an offer, hey guys, we're selling our token for X, come on now, et cetera, et cetera. And with these ICOs, they're accepting Ethereum. So Ethereum is being funneled into these new startups. So simple supply and demand economics. A lot of the Ethereum right now is being consumed by these ICOs and these dApps. Therefore, there might be a limited supply. This is just one of the very minor reasons why Ethereum has skyrocketed in the past. Okay. Next one is robust community. Not too many people talk about this, but Ethereum has an amazing community. People from France, Germany, China, Singapore, United States, here in Toronto, Canada. In fact, I think it's one of the most robust and most forward-thinking and open-thinking communities in the blockchain space right now. And like any good brand, whether we look at Apple, whether we look at, for example, Tesla, without the community, there is no startup. Forget the technology. People put too much emphasis on technology. What really matters is the community coming together, the community supporting the movement, and without that, nothing can really exist. So Ethereum has an amazing community, and I think it's just the beginning. It's just going to keep on growing and growing. Next one is an interesting one. So right now, currently, Bitcoin is having a scaling issue for their platform and technology. Figuring out whether they want to go Bitcoin Unlimited, whether they want to go SegWit. And due to this scaling issue, a lot of people are uncertain where Bitcoin is going to go. So a lot of people are leaving Bitcoin and going to different cryptocurrency. But at the exact same time, even though this scaling issue and this possibility of fork may happen in Bitcoin, Bitcoin for the currently is at one of the highest levels it's ever been. It's around north of 1,300 US, and it's always been a correlation between Bitcoin and Ethereum. If Bitcoin rises, the rest of the crypto rises. So right now, Bitcoin's in an interesting position where, yes, it's having issues with scaling. Yes, there could be a probability of a fork, but at the exact same time, people, maybe new money, maybe old money, people are still putting money in Bitcoin. It's increasing in value. It's past 1,300 US right now, and due to the fact that Bitcoin is increasing, it's also helping Ethereum and the other cryptocurrency. I want you to keep that in mind. I think due to the fork issue, still a lot of people are poo-pooing on Bitcoin, but still, it's very powerful, it's very beneficial. Next one, I don't think so. It's playing too much of a role right now, maybe a minor role, but it's going to be playing a greater role in the future. And it's going to tie into my suggestion whether you should invest in Ethereum right now or not, is proof of stake, Casper. So with proof of stake, we are switching from proof of work, so using graphic cards and mining rigs into a virtual mining aspect where you are actually staking your Ether on the blockchain. And with the staking protocol is more Ether will be tied up. So going back to basic economics on supply and demand, with more Ether tied up, therefore the intrinsic value of Ethereum rises. And at the exact same time, circling back to the dApps and startups, with more startups coming on board onto Casper, onto a proof of stake model, therefore more Ethereum will be tied up into the smart contract and tied up into the staking mechanism within proof of stake, okay? And next one is speculation. like any market, whether that is stock market or any other secondary markets, speculators are betting whether they're going to go long, whether they're going to short on Ether. So people are shorting, people are betting long. So people are trying to manipulate the market, no different than anywhere else. So they're kind of fueling the initial growth. You know, like anything, they may do a fear of missing out tactic where they're dumping in money, it raises, they skim off the top a little bit, maybe make about 10%, and then they leave and go with something else. However, I think it's still a very tiny aspect. And finally, this one is a huge one because I see a lot of new money, and not new money from companies, not new money from like big organizations, but money from individuals coming in, is the psychological barriers between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Because if you look at Bitcoin, a lot of people view right now $1,300 as one Bitcoin, and it's really expensive for them to enter. They don't understand that Bitcoin is divisible up to very small amounts. So when they see 1,300, they psychologically assume that they have to invest $1,300 for one Bitcoin. And if you compare that to contrast bias, we call it, or anchor, there's a couple of biases over here. There's contrast bias, there's anchoring bias. So the anchoring is a Bitcoin price of 1,300, and the contrast bias is Ethereum is, just say round it to 80 right now. Ethereum is 80. So when they see that, they see the lower number, and automatically they're like, oh, that's much more affordable for me to invest. And they really don't know that you can actually divide that into whatever you want. But just keep that in mind. Just, you know, even when I first entered Bitcoin, I didn't realize I can just buy, you know, 1/10 of it, or 1/100th of it, or 1/1000th of a Bitcoin, or like one Satoshi, etc. So any new people who are looking to buy into it, they see the lower price of Ethereum, they're like, okay, I can afford that $80 right now as opposed to $1,300. So that's a huge one. So I'm going to summarize these once again. Is the Ethereum Alliance, the decentralized apps, the startups and the ICOs being built on top of Ethereum with their tokenization, the robust community, the global community of Ethereum startups and developers, the Bitcoin scaling issue, but at the exact same time, Bitcoin increasing in price around $1,300 right now, and the future implementation of Casper proof of stake, speculators speculating on the market, so shorting and selling and longing, and finally the psychological barrier for new people entering the crypto world. High price versus low price, okay? So segueing into, should you be investing into Ethereum? I really believe Ethereum is still undervalued. I think it has a lot of room to grow. I think it has a potential to 10x. I don't know what that time frame is, but if I'm looking at this year's trajectory, if I'm looking at this year's development and this year's new talents and new protocols being implemented, such as Casper at the end of the year, early stages of it, because it's going to be incremental stages of releasing for it. I really believe we could possibly see an Ethereum price around 200 by Christmas. So like with anybody, when I suggest to invest in Ethereum, I'm not suggesting as a financial advisor. I'm not a financial advisor. I always say invest what you can lose. Never invest what you can't lose. If you can lose $100, invest $100. If you can lose 1,000, invest 1,000. But never ever invest what you can't lose. Don't be always looking at the price. Don't be always be worrying about it. Think about this as an experiment. We're still at the early stage. People think we're early adopters. I really don't think so. I still think we're in the lunatic stage where we're the lunatic adopters. Early stage is still 2-3 years out. We're like the super crazy people going to the space right now. So yes, I believe Ethereum is still an amazing investment. I'm going to keep on supporting Ethereum, keep on investing in Ethereum, and like always, only invest what you can lose. And my prediction is by Christmas, give or take, you'll see roughly a $200 Ethereum price. So like always, guys, I really want to grow this community, support this community. And if you're currently watching this video and if you don't have any crypto, if you don't have a crypto wallet, Ethereum wallet, download one, put your Ethereum address below or Bitcoin address, and tell me what you learned from this video, and then tell me what next video you want me to make, and then I'll be sending you guys some crypto. And like always, if you find value in this video, share this video with your friends and family. If you're looking for more training about blockchain, if you're a developer looking for more training, check out blockgeeks.com. We have guides and training below this video. Click the link. And that's about it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Peace.